Darkness. The sound of wind moving through ancient trees. Then, a voice cuts through the silence. In 1987, 3 siblings walked into the Redwood forest of Northern California. Only 2 walked out. What happened to the third defies every logical explanation. And the thing is, the 2 who survived don't remember having a third sibling at all. But something remembers. And it's been waiting. This is Millbrook, California. Population 847. A town so small that everyone knows everyone's business. Main Street stretches exactly 4 blocks. 1 traffic light, 1 diner, 1 elementary school. The kind of place where people leave their doors unlocked and children play outside until the streetlights flicker on. Except nobody plays near the forest anymore. Not since 1987. Not since the Harrington children came back wrong. Meet the Harrington family. David, age 12, Sarah, age 10. And then there's the space where someone should be. Because according to every school record, every census document, every neighbor interviewed, there were only ever 2 Harrington children. Just 2. Always 2. But then why does this family album have space for 3? Why did their mother set the table for 3 every single night until the day she died in 2003? The neighbors noticed. They asked her about it. She would smile and say she didn't know what they meant. But the third plate was always there. And why do the surviving siblings sometimes wake up screaming a name they don't recognize? A name that dissolves from their memory the moment consciousness returns. David's wife said he sits up at 3:17 in the morning, exactly, and weeps, every night. For 16 years. He doesn't remember crying, but his pillow is always wet. The footage was obtained from the Harrington estate sale last October. Nobody wanted to buy the boxes. The auctioneer refused to touch them himself. He said they felt wrong, cold, heavy in a way that had nothing to do with weight. Watch carefully. Do you see it? That shadow on the wall? It moves independently. It waves when neither child is waving. But here's what kept investigators up at night. When the tape is slowed down, frame by frame, you can hear something underneath the birthday song. A voice. A child's voice repeating, "I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, please see me." But there's no third child in the frame. The audio engineer who discovered this was found 3 days later in his studio. All the tapes destroyed, every window covered in newspaper. Margaret Chen lived next door to the Harringtons for 15 years. She saw everything, or thought she did. I remember 3 children. I know I do. Emily. Or was it Emma? God, why can't I remember her name? Every time I try to think about her face, it's like looking at something through dark water. I remember she had a red bicycle, or was it blue? I used to make chocolate chip cookies for her every Sunday. I know I did. But when I look at my recipe book, there's pages torn out, pages I don't remember tearing. And there's fingerprints on the torn edges, small fingerprints, child-sized. Margaret isn't the only one. 12 people in this town have this exact same fractured memory. A teacher at Millbrook Elementary showed her gradebook from spring, 1987. There's an entry that's been erased, not crossed out, erased so violently the paper is nearly torn through. She doesn't remember erasing it. But sometimes, late at night, she says she can see the impression of letters. An E, an M, and then nothing. Now look at this newspaper photo from July 1987. The caption reads, "Local family enjoys summer picnic. See the picnic blanket, count the plates. 5 plates, 4 people." The photographer died in 1992. Drove his car off a bridge at 2 in the morning. But before he died, he told his son something. He said he developed that photo 3 times because something kept appearing in it that wasn't there when he took the picture. A girl, standing between the 2 children, blurred, but every print came out the same. 4 people, 5 plates. On August 15th, 1987, the Harrington children went on a hike. The parents stayed behind. Mrs. Harrington told police she packed 3 sandwiches that morning, ham and cheese for David, turkey for Sarah, and peanut butter with strawberry jam. 3 different sandwiches for 3 different preferences. She remembers labeling them. But when David and Sarah returned 4 hours later, they had only 2 empty sandwich bags. The third sandwich was never found. This is the last photo taken before they entered the woods. David and Sarah remember this hike. They remember the smell of pine. They remember their hiking boots on gravel. But when interviewed separately, in different states, they gave the exact same answer, word for word, identical phrasing, like two radios playing the same recording. David said, "We walked for maybe 2 hours. Then Sarah said she was tired. So we turned back. That's it, nothing else happened." Sarah said, "We walked for maybe 2 hours. Then Sarah said she was tired. So we turned back. That's it, nothing else happened." Wait. Sarah said she was tired. Sarah speaking about herself in the third person. When this was pointed out to David, he went pale. He ended the interview without another word. When Sarah was confronted with her own recorded words, she stared without blinking for 63 seconds. Then she said, "I don't know who you're talking about. I never said that, but it's on tape." She refuses to listen to the recording. The trail was hiked last month. 2 hours in, the location was found. A clearing that doesn't appear on any map, not Forest Service maps, not satellite imagery. But it exists. The locals call it the empty place. Dogs won't enter it. Birds don't fly over it. The silence here is absolute. No wind, no insects, nothing. In the center of this clearing, there are 3 large stones arranged in a perfect triangle. Each stone weighs approximately 200 pounds. They're granite, not native to this area. The nearest granite deposit is 14 miles away. No tire tracks, no equipment marks. And in the middle of the triangle, the grass has never grown back. Not in 38 years. Soil samples were taken. The ground is sterile, not contaminated, not poisoned, just empty, as if life itself refuses to take root there. And carved into a tree at the edge. The carving reads, D, H plus S, H plus E, H. The family denies carving this, but tree ring analysis dates the carving to summer 1987. Here's what made investigators' blood run cold. A rubbing was taken. Under magnification, there's more. Smaller letters underneath. Help us remember her. Help us remember her. Repeated 47 times. The search and rescue team that responded when the children returned. 6 responders. 5 are still alive. 4 refused all interviews, but 1 agreed. Thomas Mercer, 68 years old. He met at a diner 2 towns over. Not in Millbrook, never in Millbrook. You need to stop looking into this. Whatever you think you're going to find, you won't, because it doesn't want to be found. What did you see that day? Thomas pulled out a folder. There were 3 sets of footprints going into the forest, 3 sets coming out, 3 different shoe sizes. 1 set was smaller, a girl's shoes, size 5, pink Converse. We found the treads clearly in the mud. What happened to the 3rd set of prints? They just ended, in the middle of the trail, 1 step, then nothing. Like whoever was making them just stopped existing. But here's what nobody talks about. When we found David and Sarah, they were holding hands. But there was space between them, like they were holding someone else's hand, someone we couldn't see. And their hands were at different heights. Like the invisible person was shorter than David but taller than Sarah. Thomas pulled out his personal journal. The children kept looking at the space between them. Sarah asked if Emily was okay. David told her to stop it. Sarah started crying and said she can't see her anymore. We asked who Emily was. Both children looked confused. David said, "Nobody. There's nobody here but us." But they never let go of that empty space between their hands. Not until we got them back to their parents. And when they finally did, Sarah whispered, "I'm sorry I forgot you." 2 days after the interview, Thomas's house burned down. Electrical fire. He survived. When called in the hospital, he whispered, "She visited me last night, the girl. She stood at the foot of my bed. She asked why I remembered her. She said everyone else forgot. She said forgetting is safer. She said remembering makes her real again, and she doesn't want to be real." David Harrington was contacted one final time. He lives in Portland now. Changed his name in 1995. When Emily's name was spoken at his door, David collapsed, and he said, "Yes." There were 3 of us. Emily was the youngest. She was 8. She had red hair. She loved butterflies. And then his face contorted. He grabbed his head, started screaming. Because he couldn't remember her face. The details were dissolving even as he spoke. What happened in the forest? We found something. Or something found us. There was a woman, old, ancient, standing in a clearing. She said we were trespassing. She pointed at Emily. She said, "One of you has to stay." That's the price. We thought she was joking. And then Emily wasn't laughing anymore. She was screaming, but no sound came out. She was there. Then she was fading. Then she was gone. And we forgot. Immediately. Until right now. Until you said her name. Sarah was reached by phone. When Emily's name was mentioned, silence. Then, I dream about her every night. But when I wake up, I don't remember the dream, just the feeling, the loss. I've been grieving someone my whole life without knowing who. I forgot my own sister. 3 days later, a package arrived. No return address. Inside, a child's drawing. 3 stick figures. But the middle one is violently scribbled out. On the back, "I'm still in the forest. I'm always in the forest. Stop looking for me." What this teaches us. This case reveals how memory functions under extreme trauma. Shared false memory syndrome can occur when groups experience collective trauma, causing brains to rewrite events as protection. The Mandela effect shows how masses share incorrect memories. In severe childhood trauma, dissociative amnesia can cause siblings to literally erase people from conscious memory. The forest location matters. Environmental psychology shows certain places with unusual electromagnetic properties, or infrasound, cause hallucinations and memory distortion. The sterile soil suggests possible contamination, affecting neurological function. Several cases exist of families experiencing shared hallucinations near areas with high electromagnetic interference. However, physical evidence remains unexplained. Footprints that end. Carved initials from 1987. Consistent testimony across decades. Whether Emily existed or was a collective delusion, something happened in that forest. Something that changed reality. The human mind protects itself from unbearable truth. Sometimes that means forgetting. Sometimes erasing someone entirely. The question isn't whether Emily was real. It's what's more terrifying, that she existed and was erased, or that she never existed and an entire town created her. And the final question: how many other people have been forgotten? How many empty spaces exist in your memories? The Harrington case reminds us reality is fragile. Memory is not recording. It's a story we tell ourselves. And sometimes, chapters are missing that we never knew existed.